Hi, Sandy here. I'm working on playing with my brown scraps and stickers, and I stick with one color because I sort everything by one color. So I've been playing, making tags and borders. I've got this. I made this with some scraps, some strips, and I just put this sticker on right there. And I've got this that I printed from Pinterest. I'm going to put that on. Right there. Very vintage looking lady with a cat, and there's a vintage looking bird cage. I had some scrapbook paper with several of those on there, and I cut them all out so I can use them. And that goes up here. And then I like to have things hanging off the side of my tags and borders. I use them for decorating my 8.5 by 11 scrapbook pages. That's the only size I do. So, isn't that a nice little scrap? I think that's off of a branding strip. I'm not sure. It's got a bird on it. I hope the camera's focusing in on that. It's really nice. Okay. Then I've got this sticker. It looks like the type of paper that children would learn how to print on. It's got lines. I'm going to put that right here. I can write a date on there or something on my scrapbook page. This is a vintage looking stamp. It's actually a sticker. I'm going to put that right here. It's fun to layer things. And then I got this button. I'm going to add that to it. So earlier today, and I did some last night too, I have my folding table that I bought at Walmart a while back, and I set it up in my room along with my table I'm working on here, and I spread out a whole bunch of things like this that are the subjects of my tags and borders. And then I got my pre-made, I make a lot of these pre-made tag and border bases, and I laid a bunch of those out and paired them up with the subjects, and then I started throwing things on there. I just threw a bunch of buttons, and not literally all over, but I tossed one here and there and onto the different tags and borders, and now I'm gluing them together. So here's another one. This is like Victorian lady corsets right there with the measuring tape measure, whatever. Just some strips glued together on some used paper. I like them to be 2 3/4. I only do 8.5 by 11 pages, and that seems to fit pretty well. So this is, I think no, this is from some scrapbook paper I bought. So I got this Victorian lady here. This is from some scrapbook paper I bought. It had a bunch of these images, all assorted images, and I cut them all out. So I got an old-fashioned sewing machine. So I'm going to put that right there. And I've got this, and it goes good with the measuring because it's got measuring on the back. It says, "Have big dreams, you will grow into them." I guess I'll put it right there. Then I got this big flower. So I'm going to put a glue dot right there. Hope it doesn't stick off it. No, can't have it there. And it's going to make a mess when I pull it up. Oh, it might be okay. Okay, more like there. Okay. So now I got this flower, and here's a big old button. Look at that big button. So I'm going to use this as the center of the flower. Then I got this button. I bought 2 jars of buttons at a thrift shop a while back, and they are really, really old and stained, and they have a lot of character. And I've been using quite a few of those today. Here's a rhinestone flower. Put that right there, and then I got a little paper flower. So where do I want to put that? Again, I just threw a bunch of things on the tags and borders, and this is what I end up with. Oh, let's see. I'm going to put it right there. There. Don't even think about it. It's done. Okay. Then I've got this tag. This was, I think somebody gave this to me. It was a die cut, I think. And I punched it, and I used my Distress ink, and I smeared it up a little bit. And I've got this, I printed this from Pinterest. It's 2 birds on a shovel. I really like these kind of images. And there's the rusty lock on the gate. And then I have this sticker. I got this from Dollar Tree. There were several stickers on a page. You Make My Heart Sing. And it's got a bird on it. So that'll go good. Oh, I got a little bit ahead of myself. I always add these little scraps of paper. It's just something I like to do. It's kind of fun. Not always, but most of the time. And I like to have them hanging off the edge. It just adds some more interest. This one has some glitter on it. Well, it's not really a flaky kind of glitter, but it's kind of a rough texture, so that might make it difficult for this to stick onto. But I guess it's going to stick to this bird picture, so it'll be fine. Then I've got this. It's a brad, and just for no reason, I'm going to use it. So I got to poke a hole to have a place to put it. Okay. Press it open like that. And this, I clean a clinic every morning. This is off the top of an injection bottle. It was on the floor and I picked it up whenever I see them. And they come in a lot of different colors. Whenever I see them, I pick them up and I use them. Because they're like buttons, kind of. Okay, I think I'm going to need an extra glue dot because there's like a hole in here, and got to make sure we get some grip. So, I'm going to put that right here. Don't even need to think about it. Let's see. I need something on here. What have I got? I know what I need. I need one of these little flowers. The brad is kind of like a metal postage stamp shape, and I need to put something on it, anything. So here we go. Most of my tags are rectangular, this shape, with the tag shape, but this one is a round one that's a little different. Just something I had laying around. Okay, another border. This is a base that I made with strips, and this has some glitter paper, and is that a flaky kind of glitter? Some of my glitter paper is flaky and some of it isn't. That's not bad. Okay, and then I got this. It says this day, and I can write something about whatever I'm scrapbooking on there. I've been making an effort to make some tags and borders that I can actually write on. And they're not just decoration. And I guess I didn't choose anything to hang off the side because it's hard to glue onto that glitter. Although I could have used it this way, but I like it this way. Then I have these frames. I've had them for a long time. So sometimes I add them just for no reason. Just to use them up. And I don't have to line them up with whatever I'm going to put on there either. So I killed a glue stick there. That one's done. So I'm starting a new one. So I'm going to put this kind of like that. Yeah. Kind of curling a little bit, but once I get it on a scrapbook page and in the page protector, it'll be fine. And not look at that pretty birds, the mama bird and baby birds, and it looks like Dad's bringing some food for the babies. Just birds in a bird's nest. It's pretty cute. See, I'm not even making any effort whatsoever to make it fit onto the frame. And this is just something I have. It's a key with a crown, vintage looking. This is not real vintage looking, but maybe this will help. Yeah. And I like to have things at wonky angles. I think it just makes it more interesting. This is a sticker. It's like a canceled stamp. International stamp. Oh, where am I going to put that? Right there? Sure. Okay. I had several of these little squares, and I've had them for a while, and today I think I had about a dozen of them. I just tossed them all over my projects so I could get them used up. So there's one. I've got this flower. I'm going to put that right there. And I've got a little silk flower. I'll put that right there. I've got a white button. I was just tossing buttons on there, just tossing things with a little aim, tossing things onto these tags and borders. I try not to think much about what I'm doing. I just dive right in and do it. So I got some buttons on there and another one of these things from the clinic for injections. So I think I'll put that right here. So there's another one done. Hope I didn't forget anything. Let me show you this. This is a cutting mat from Dollar Tree. They come two in a package. And hi, Kathleen. My friend Kathleen suggested that I try this because I've been scrapbooking for 18 years and I'm very frugal and I've always used glue sticks, And I always use newspaper, and that newspaper gets sticky and messy, and my table stays clean, and that's the whole point, but that newspaper is a mess. And then sometimes the newsprint will stick onto my stuff. And so this, I can wash it off. And I got this corner all sticky, so I can turn it around and use another one. And then I discovered, I always keep a razor blade on here because sometimes stickers are hard to get off of their backing, and I keep this handy. And I use that a lot, but I can also just scrape this off, especially after it's dried overnight. And then that'll make it a lot easier for me to wipe it with a wet cloth. That got a little noisy, didn't it? Okay, one more tag. So this is out of a book on a Texas toast box. And I used my Distress ink on there and made it very old looking. I've got this like journaling card. It's an old alarm clock, and I put this smile sticker on there. I might shift where that goes after I get it glued down. Oh, got ahead of myself. I gotta glue my little things on the edges. Okay. I always like to angle things like that. This makes it more interesting. And that sticker was going to fit just fine right there. I'm going to add a couple of buttons. I'm about to run out of my large glue dots, but I have an extra package. Put that button right there, and here's another one of them old buttons. Look how stained up it is. It's been used, and they got a lot of character. Let's see. Put that right here, and I'll punch a hole. Hope I didn't forget to punch any holes. Okay. So I've actually been working on this since yesterday, and I am finished. And I made a whole lot of tags and borders, and I'm going to show them to you now. I should kick on some music, but I think I'll talk. So here's this one I just finished, and this border I just finished. This border I just finished, and it's curling, but it'll be fine when it's glued onto a scrapbook page. This border I just finished. Here's a border. I think it's a little narrower than the ones I usually make. Let me see. No, it's the same width. But I've got this nice writing here and this clock print. And I think it looks really nice, so I didn't want to cover it up with a lot of stuff. So I just added this and a bird cage, and this I can write a date on there or a name or something. And then I had this, like these little squares I told you about, and I just tossed 3 of them on there. So there you go. That one's done. Here's a border. This is a rusty old pickup truck that I printed off of Pinterest. I really like the classic vehicles and rusty old vehicles, and I really like to put them on tags. And then here's some gears and a compass, and here's a Scrabble letter I found somewhere, I don't know where, and I've had it quite a while. Today I used it, yes. Here's a ticket, some scraps of paper, another one of them squares. This is a God, I can't think, it's not cardstock, it's that real thick card, super thick cardstock. I know what it's called, if it does not come to me. It's just fantastic. And then this I made quite a while ago. It's just a ugly old brown scrap. And this is some notebook paper, and I glued that on there. for something to journal on. Then I added a couple of star stickers, and I do this a lot. I have something to start with, and it's just not doing it for me, and then I add a little bit more, and it's just not doing it for me. So then, bam, it's on this, and that's done. And if I can use this on a scrapbook page and write something on it, so that's good. And then this one, this just says forever, and on the background it's got wish, embrace, kind, smile, just some words. And then I've got this card, and it had the glitter on there. I added a big circle with a rose, and this, and all of these border bases are what I've made by gluing some strips together. And then this one too, I'm pretty sure this one's narrower than the others. I had these clocks on a strip, and this one, time has a wonderful way of showing us what really matters. And I had these clock faces here, so I added those. Didn't want to add a lot to it and cover up the designs, so that's nice. Got some more borders. I've been playing. This one, another rusty old truck with a ticket, enjoy the journey. Just some little things I threw together, a button, 45-cent thing. This one is a Victorian house. It says home sweet home. Got a butterfly, this pretty thing that's got like a vintage paper piled up, sort of, a birdhouse, a flower with a rhinestone. I can write something right there. There's one of them very old buttons, another very old button. This one, The Good Life. I got a Victorian lady and a car that's from like the 20s. Just mix and match a bunch of stuff on there. And here's my last border. Birds are another one of my favorite subjects. I had a leaf. I put that on there. It kind of goes good with the leaves in the picture. I got my little things hanging off the side, and this flower die cut with a very old button on it, and just a couple of things added there. Some people look for a beautiful place. Others make a place beautiful. And I got a butterfly on there. Okay. Then I've got this. I could journal on this one. This is kind of pale right there to journal on. Just angled it on a card and added some stuff hanging off the side and some buttons and one of them squares and a key sticker. It's kind of transparent. And this is from a package of Tim Holtz ephemera, and I just like the look of it, so I used it. And then this one, it says Wonder. It's just really nice, and then it's got a flower and a birdhouse. I think this is some paper that I tea-dyed. This was just computer paper, white computer paper, and I tea-dyed it, and then I distress inked it, and it's very vintage looking. And there's my little scraps of paper and some buttons. A lot of the same things, but everything is totally different. You know, it's not all the same thing over and over. Home is where your favorite memories are. Got my papers hanging off the side and a butterfly. This is from, let me see. This is from the Sears Roebuck and Company catalog, and I really like tearing pages out of it and using it for stuff. Very old looking. And it's not really authentic. It's a reproduction. Then I've got this, Living the Life I Always Imagined. This was some strips of paper glued onto a tag, and then this, and I got an egg because I got a bird there, and a printed silk flower, and a button. There's another one of the very old buttons. Brown is not my favorite color because brown is brown. I wouldn't have a brown car. But I really like vintage stuff, so I really like my stuff that I do in brown because it's all vintage. Okay, the air is like a butterfly with frail blue wings. The happy earth looks at the sky and sings. There's my little scraps of paper and some buttons and one of the little squares, and I added a circle right there just for no reason, and a butterfly. Gotta have a butterfly because it said something about a butterfly. There's a butterfly there too, and a flower with a rhinestone in it. And this one, remember, I got a picture right there, button, glittery flower, butterfly. This I'm covered with some gift wrap and some strips going vertically. A vintage button, and I use the distress ink on this to make it old looking. This is the round one that we just made with the birds. This one was some rosy gift wrap. You can't even see the rose print on there because it's all covered up. But that's what when I cover these tags with print, I know that most of it's going to get covered up. So I don't fuss over it much. And then here's some scraps and a flower and buttons, and I put a bug on there just for no reason. This one says documented, and I can write on there, and just added my scraps and my buttons and my flowers. Here's another one from the catalog. Did I toss that in the wrong pile? Did I? Nope. There it is. These are both from the catalog. It says dream and heart, and there's my scraps and buttons and a flower and a rhinestone. This one I really like. This was like Project Life card with a camera on it, and I just added smile, the scraps, and this. I'm going to think of the name of that. No, I'm probably not going to think of it, but I know what it is. The really thick cardboard, and then a glittery flower. This is actually a Kleenex box, and this says observations. I can write something. My scraps, chipboard. I thought of it. It's chipboard. That real thick cardboard is chipboard. We know that. And then this is a hedgehog, I believe. This is a Tim Holtz birds. This is from a music book. The paper, and I distress inked it, added my scraps, a rhinestone flower, and a butterfly. So happy together. These I printed from Pinterest a while back, and I really like them, but I just haven't been using them. So I'm going to put these in with my glue book stuff, and those are going to look really good on Victorian glue book pages. And you gotta put things where you're gonna look for them, and hopefully they'll get used. And when I see these, I'm gonna say, yeah, I want that on my page. And then I got this smaller one. I have several of these things. This says our story. The others don't say anything, but you can write on them. You can stamp on them, whatever you want to do. And here's a bird, and I added a circle. And I distressed ink to this, added my scraps and button. These two are the same card. A while back, again, it's coming in stages. I added this sticker, I will never forget, and memories, still not doing it for me. So today I distressed inked them, added the scraps and the buttons. I don't want them identical, but now I can write on these, use them for journaling cards on my scrapbook pages. These two are from the cover of a scrapbook paper pad with samples of the scrapbook paper. These are the samples, just a little patch of them. And it's all one piece of cardstock from the cover. And I just decorated them, added some stuff to them, buttons and flowers and vintage looking things. This one I I don't know where I got that. I don't think I printed that one. I think it came with something else. And I had glued it to some brown paper and trimmed around the edge to give it a little margin. Until today I wrote sweet. I got a rhinestone flower and a button, and I can write a little note on there, a very tiny note, a date or a place or something on there. This one is printed just like that. And I just added today and a button. These two are tags like this, but they're brown color. I had these two stickers. The wings actually come up like this, only the top wings. So I put those on there. I added the round things. This says smile and this one says thoughts. Just some little embellishments. This one is actually a big sticker, and I punched it today. I'm just now thinking maybe I should have distressed inked it, but it's brown around the edges. It looks old. I got a really fancy button, a silk flower with a rhinestone and a butterfly. This one, another one of them cards that says our photos, and I just added this decoration and some distress ink. And the last one, again, the sample from the cover of the scrapbooking paper pad, and it's got these different prints, and it's got a sewing machine with a rose. I think it's really pretty. So I added beautiful and a silk flower and a rhinestone and a button. It's just a little embellishment. And I could even, if I will make another border and tag. I will never stop making borders and tags. I can actually decorate a border with that. I can, if I don't use it on a page. So thanks for watching, and I'm probably going to work on my glue books for a while now. I haven't done those for a while. So bye bye. Subscribe to my channel.